Hello everyone and welcome to this yin yoga class. My name is Helen and today we're going to take you through a 15 to 20 minute yin yoga practice. So yin is a very slow and very quiet practice. We're going to be holding poses for longer, so we're not going to get through many poses, but the ones that we're going to do, we're going to work deeply into. So we're actually going to be working into the connective tissue in our body, which can be where a lot of our tension is held. We're going to start lying on our back, so come and meet me on your mat and get nice and comfy here. So if you want to kind of sprawl out and starfish, that's cool. Or maybe your hands rest onto your tummy, absolutely your choice. Just give yourself a moment to settle. Close down the eyes. Let's take a smooth breath in through the nose. And a nice big sigh through the mouth. Arriving onto the mat, arriving in your body and welcoming yourself to the present moment. So letting go of any fidgets and inviting in stillness. So in this place of stillness, take a moment to notice how you feel today. So physically, how are we feeling? Maybe there's some subtle differences between the left and the right hand side of the body. And then noticing how the mind is today. Maybe we are feeling a little bit distracted. Without any judgment, just simply building up a picture of what you're bringing to the mat today. So in a yin yoga practice, it's a very inward and quiet practice. It's very meditative. So if you find your mind maybe start to wander and think about work stuff or life stuff, see if you can bring it back to the physical. So noticing physical sensations within the body, the sound of your breathing. So we're going to move into our first pose. So slowly bringing the knees into the chest. And then bringing yourself to a seated position with the soles of the feet together. So for this one, soles of the feet together, and we want to slide our feet just a little bit further away from us, just so it's not super tight here. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, just allow yourself to melt forwards. So let the head hang heavy. You might have a pillow that you want to pop underneath the head, possibly. And in a yin yoga practice, there is nothing to strive for or reach for. It's literally just putting our body into these shapes and then allowing gravity to kind of pull us a little bit deeper. So with each exhale, just allowing your body to soften and melt closer to the floor. And if you do have distractions going on around you, noises, people, traffic, see if you can turn your gaze inwards towards yourself, so noticing the sound of your breath instead. Noticing with detail the sensations going on in the body. So for some of us, we're going to be feeling it mostly into the groin and the inner thigh. For others, you might feel that opening through the lower back.
And you'll find with time, and as your muscles relax and the connective tissue relaxes, that you get a little bit deeper into the pose. See if you can lean into that. Good, taking a final few breaths here. Just noticing if there's anything else you can let go of. Good, and then slowly bringing yourself all the way back up to upright, nice and slow. And then closing the knees up like a book. And we're going to come onto our tummy here. So move nice and slow in between poses. There's absolutely no rush in yin yoga. So coming onto the tummy. And then we're going to come onto our forearms here. So the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. So you're kind of propped up by this bone here. You don't really need to use muscles to hold yourself up. Opening through the chest. So this is a nice counter pose for that forward bend that we've just done. We're going to hold it here together, and then I'll give you the option to intensify if you wish. But for now, see if you can really relax through the legs, particularly through your glutes. Notice if they want to hold on. See if you can relax, allow the heels to drop to the sides. You can close your eyes, you can let your head drop back or forwards, whatever you prefer. I'm just noticing if there's any resistance, not just physically but mentally as well. Maybe your mind wants to start up conversations about other things. And see if you can just move those thoughts to one side as you focus on the shape and focus exactly where you are right now. Wonderful. So if you'd like a little more intensity, we can take our hands out to the side of the mat and then begin to straighten up the arms. So you want to straighten them so you don't really need to use the muscles so much. So you're almost just straightening them up, and it's almost just like it doesn't cause much effort to keep yourself upright. If this is too much, if you're feeling very strong sensations through that lower spine, totally stay down on the forearms. It's still a great pose. Lovely. Otherwise, we're opening up through that front side. And we're bringing a little bit of a compression into the lumbar spine, which, as long as we're nice and calm and we're not forcing it, it's absolutely healthy and safe for us to do. Keeping the facial muscles nice and relaxed. The neck and the jaw. Wonderful. Let's take one more breath here. And let it go. Good. Slowly, slowly bring yourself all the way down. So we'll make a little pillow for our head with our hands and just allow the spine to come to neutral. So you might feel like a rush of release here as you exit from some of these poses. Wonderful. And then we're going to come to a child's pose. So take your time, big toes together, press back, sitting bones rest onto the heels, forehead onto the mat, or if it's more comfortable, you can use your hands as a little pillow. And then breathe into your belly. So as you fill up the belly with the breath, that's going to press into your lower back, and just counterpose that previous pose that we've just done. Wonderful. Let's come forwards to all fours. We're going to set up for the next pose, which is dragon pose. So you're going to step your right foot on the outside of your right hand. Wonderful. From here, you're going to sink your hips forwards. So the target area is the front of this left hip, so this hip flexor area. If this is very intense for you, if you're feeling particularly tight, you can totally come up onto the thigh and be upright. This is a good place to be. Or maybe some of us rest onto our hands, and with time you might find that you're comfortable on your forearms. So take your pick and be in a place at like 6 or 7 out of 10. You don't want like 8, 9, 10 out of 10 intensity. You want that nice soft edge. And then see if you can breathe into it. So leaning into that sensation in your left hip. Again, nice one to close your eyes completely. Let go of what it looks like. So as we're dealing with gravity here, all our bodies will start to move in a different way. So that back leg might come out to the side, the right knee might drop to the right a little more. Nice, so you might find some of us would like to come onto the forearms now. If coming onto the forearms is too much, but being on the hands is not enough, totally grab a block or some pillows and bring the floor to you so you can pop them under your forearms if you want. And just check in with the breath. Make sure your breath can still flow very freely and calmly. So if your breath starts to get a little bit short and sharp, it's probably an indication that you've maybe gone just a touch too far and you need to back off. Good, let's take one more full breath in. And a nice big sigh. Now we're going to slowly exit this pose and come back to all fours. So every time you exit a pose, you want to move nice and slow. We're working very deeply into our range of motion in our joints, so it's very common to feel quite vulnerable or a little bit wobbly after exiting the pose. So take a little swing of your hips or a little movement that feels good. And then we're going to move on to the opposite side. So your left foot is going to step onto the outside of your left hand, sinking the hips forwards. Just take a few moments here just to notice how you feel on that side. So no one is completely symmetrical, so different sides can feel like completely different bodies. So settling into that right hip now. And see if you can invite stillness in as quickly as possible. Because every time we move, that means our muscles are engaged and then we can't work into that connective tissue, the fascia. You might find the mind is a little bit resistant to coming to stillness, particularly if you live quite a busy life and you're very much go, go, go. This is a great practice for you, but can be very challenging. With a yin yoga practice, it's not really just about the physical, it's about the mental challenge of it as well, like being still, having that self-discipline to be still. Wonderful. So if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you might experiment coming to one forearm, maybe even to both forearms. If you go too far, don't feel like you can't come back from it. Totally like come back up onto your hands.
again, let go of holding on to anything. If your body wants to lean in a certain way, lean into it. But if anything doesn't feel right for you, if anything feels quite injurious or like very sharp, feel free to adjust and like make it more comfortable. So with each exhale, sinking the hips forwards, getting into the front of that right hip. You're doing really, really well. Take one more breath here. And let it go. Wonderful. Slowly, slowly coming back up onto the hands. Let's come back to all fours really slowly. And then from here, bringing the big toes together, take the knees out wide and then resting into child's pose. So hands as a pillow or forehead directly onto the mat. Rest here. Just notice how it feels to release from those shapes. So you might feel like you've unblocked something. So you're very welcome to lie on your back now and rest for a few minutes and just let this video end. Otherwise, we're going to close the practice, slowly coming up to find a comfortable seat. Keep your eyes closed if you can. As you inhale, sit a little taller. And sigh it out. Just take a moment to notice how you feel now. Maybe taking a moment to reflect on what parts of the practice came easily, maybe what parts were more challenging. And then bringing the hands together at heart center, bowing the head down towards yourself. Really thank yourself for carving out the time to look after your body and mind. Blinking the eyes open and welcoming yourself back into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on another one.